trillion-ton iceberg, which we're just hearing has broken off Antarctica.
Sudden burst of solar activity, which melted down those ice sheets, but that's not what I go with.
"38 people disappeared overnight while headed from Chile to Antarctica."
Locked in away ice, Antarctica guards mysteries that might just rewrite the story of our past and shake up everything we thought we knew. A former naval officer and a journalist have shared shocking stories on how they discovered an entrance to a secret alien base containing UFOs in Antarctica. How did this naval flight engineer Brian discover this secret alien base? How is the world power trying to hide it from the entire planet? Join us on this intriguing journey as we explore the terrifying truths of the U.S. terrifying claim that aliens are hiding in Antarctica. The naval officer's revelation. In January 2015, investigative reporter Linda Moulton Howe stumbled upon a mysterious Antarctic tale when she got an email from Brian, a retired U.S. naval flight engineer with a wild story from his time in Antarctica in the 80s and 90s. Brian dropped a bombshell, claiming he saw some seriously strange stuff during his 4,000 flight hours over Antarctica.
Naval flight engineer. He's asked me to call him only Brian.
The juiciest part of the story is that he stumbled upon a massive, perfect circle carved into the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to a glowing cave entrance below. But here's where it gets even weirder. When Brian tried to get closer, all the gadgets in his aircraft went haywire, and they had to do an emergency restart. After that encounter, shady authorities confiscated records and gave Brian and his crew the silent treatment. Intrigued by the craziness of Brian's story, Linda dug deeper.
Something archaeological in Antarctica.
Brian later spilled the beans on what went down. In 1987, during a resupply flight out of McMurdo Station, Brian and his crew got last-minute orders to pick up something from a remote campsite in Antarctica's interior. When they arrived, they found the camp trashed and deserted, with no sign of human activity anywhere. This creepy scenario kicked off a string of disappearances at Antarctic stations. Odd radio bursts in strange languages popped up before each disappearance, coming from some unknown source deep under the ice. As the crew got jittery, Brian's co-pilot spotted a big shiny craft silently cruising past their cockpit. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie. A white, smooth-surfaced, lozenge-shaped vessel over 100 feet in diameter. Brian did what he was supposed to do and reported it when they got back. Here's where things get dicey. Men in black suits showed up at McMurdo, accompanied by big-shot naval commanders. They ordered Brian to retract his report about the weird aircraft, but he refused, facing threats of serious consequences. Weeks later, while checking out a remote area, Brian picked up a faint distress signal from inside an ice shelf. He traced it to a bizarre circular hole in the ice, glowing mysteriously. But as they circled to check it out, their plane went dark, all systems shut down. It was freaky, but luckily, they got backup power and made it out okay. Back at McMurdo, Brian sent a coded alert about the strange ice hole, but surprisingly, a bunch of classified convoys headed there. Brian then found himself grilled by a panel of suited folks from DARPA, who warned him to keep his mouth shut about the weird sightings in Antarctica. As if that wasn't enough, Brian connected the dots to unsolved cases of missing scientists and abandoned research outposts in Antarctica over the years. It's like a frozen X-Files down there. Haunted by a sense of responsibility, Brian carried immense guilt for keeping quiet about the unsettling incidents in Antarctica, knowing his fellow servicemen faced threats for speaking out. Luckily, he found an ally in Linda Howe, a dedicated investigator eager to bring suppressed accounts to light and expose the truth behind a potential Antarctic cover-up. Over several years, Linda conducted thorough investigations, gathering testimonies from military witnesses supporting Brian's claims. They spoke of advanced airships near Antarctica, strange IC radio transmissions, and USO, popularly referred to as unidentified submerged objects, moving at mind-boggling speeds in the Southern Ocean. Classified satellite imagery revealed temporary domed installations in Antarctica, mysteriously destroyed to hide covert activities. Linda also uncovered the obituaries of numerous researchers who specialized in Antarctic studies and died prematurely after incidents on the ice. Further digging exposed decades of secretive expeditions led by powerful military and scientific entities to Antarctic locations, raising questions about their true objectives. Despite Antarctica being a scientific preserve, geopolitical tensions have risen due to overlapping territorial claims, sparking fears of resource exploitation and nuclear deployment. Today, Linda faces challenges from mysterious security agencies as she digs deeper into Antarctica's escalating secrecy and security. However, mainstream support for her investigations is growing. The fate of life on our planet depends on transparency about Antarctica's future, a transparency consistently denied by those in power. At this crucial juncture, we must stand with truth seekers like Linda and confront reality with an open but critical mind. As revelations about Antarctica's secrets emerge, our focus should be on seeking wisdom rather than succumbing to fear. It's time to prioritize facts over suppression or denial, even if it means grappling with unsettling truths that may reshape human history as we understand it. Brian's Extraterrestrial Antarctic Encounters. Brian's time flying over Antarctica turned into a wild sci-fi adventure against the icy beauty of the continent. Researchers disappeared, got scared, and wouldn't spill the beans, adding a spooky vibe to Brian's story. But the real head-scratcher is that Brian kept seeing shiny silver things doing crazy moves in the bright Antarctic skies, defying all known science. On one flight over the Queen Maud mountain range, Brian and his crew saw shiny silver discs, perfectly round, pop up one after the other from behind an icy peak. Floating towards Mount Fridtjof in a neat line, they were about 30 to 40 yards wide, and their smooth surfaces didn't shine, making them look solid against the blue sky. And get this, they moved like nothing we humans could make. Synchronized spins, crazy speed-ups, and mid-air rotations with no wings or jets. After 15 minutes of this weird movement, the discs zipped behind Mount Fridtjof, leaving Brian and his crew totally stunned. They couldn't believe what they just saw in Antarctica's skies. The tech on display that day hinted at way smarter beings working over Earth's southern pole than we thought possible. But here's the real head-scratcher in Brian's tale: the discovery of a massive hole in the Antarctic ice leading to a glowing cave below. The hole was smoother than any modern drill could make, with a cool blue glow. As if that wasn't enough, all their gear went haywire when they got close, such as radar, navigation, controls, you name it. Everything was okay anywhere else, but within a kilometer of that weird ice cave, it became total chaos. Brian filed a report about it all, detailing electromagnetic craziness and spotting 3 fast-moving objects shooting out of the cave at super speeds. But guess what? The report got snatched away by some unknown dudes who wanted everyone to keep quiet. This whole thing messed with Brian's head. It reminded him of old stories about mysterious spaces under Antarctica's surface from Admiral Byrd's secret naval expedition in 1947. Brian even risked solo flights over the anomaly, where wild electrical stuff messed with his gear. On his last flight, before they banned him from the zone, Brian saw a silver disc chilling inside the ice cave. Then, boom, the disc shot up, blasted a crazy light, and fried all of Brian's gear. After Brian and his plane finally got back on track 20 minutes later, they discovered they had landed 13 kilometers away from the strange cave. Brian couldn't recall how the plane moved during the blackout. Despite attempts to return to the coordinates, constant bad weather and a strict no-fly zone meant he never laid eyes on the Antarctic cave entrance again. In the years that followed, Brian quietly connected with other pilots who confirmed seeing silver discs near Antarctica.